microphone on and all. Yeah, I'm hearing me. Hello. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell to be aware of any new content that I post. And if you're a returning subscriber, you already know the vibes and how we get down. So today we are getting into a really good topic surrounding self-confidence. This has been a topic I wanted to discuss for quite some time. Ooh, so like I said, we're going to just get right into this video. We're discussing confidence today. I wanted to talk about this topic because this was something I struggled with for years. And mainly, I feel like that struggle came from a lot of unclarity as far as, just all those questions that you really do start asking yourself around the age of 25 anyway. So I felt like that ever since then, this has kind of like been one of those ongoing journeys of just self-love, self-confidence, and figuring out who the heck I am, right? I was like, oh my goodness, like if I could have just have known some of these things earlier, or just some points to just point me in the right direction to just think about certain things, I would have been so much further along. However, grateful for the experience because it still was a lesson in it, So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this topic today, talking about confidence. We're going to be talking about ways that you can work on your confidence as well as reasons why your confidence might be stunted, And we're going to be talking about factors in which may be, in your case, the reason why, as well as things that we can all do and work on a continuous basis to keep this confidence of ours going. We're going to just probably hop right into just building your confidence. So who you are, right? What do you stand for? What do you believe? What are your dreams? What are your goals? A lot of times these are conversations we're even having with our parents nowadays, right? Let alone with ourselves. And with the issue that really comes into play with this is, especially with social media and how it is right now, is that social media then starts to dictate what that long-term looks like for us and the goals that we might have versus us just kind of having a good idea of what we want to do already in our mind frames. And one thing I've learned is when you're standing in a place, I always like to call them gray shaded areas, but just areas in which we're just unclear, especially mentally and emotionally, it brings on a lot of anxiety, and it plays a huge role in your confidence, because what I can tell you is when you're stuck and you're constantly trying to navigate through certain things, especially like I always love to say, childhood trauma is going to already be a navigation tool that will keep you stuck navigating through for quite some time. Especially if you may be more stubborn to therapy and things of that nature. So what you constantly want to just do, just make sure you're asking yourself the right questions. That comes with spending quality time with yourself and being around things that really does open you up to being able to ooze out those thoughts, those feelings that really are at the core or center of your mind, and really just get to the bottom of figuring those things out. Because once you do get it clear up here, I'm telling you, you're going to see how everything else is going to flourish, clear its way. You know what I'm saying? It's going to just all become a lot more clearer up here. I would say standing on what makes you an individual is very important. A lot of times when we are so comfortable being validated by other people, we are comfortable always feeling that if I make decisions, as long as I have at least one person to support me on it, then I know I'm making the right choices. In all actuality, some of the hardest decisions that you will ever make in this life will be with you and God alone. Trust me when I tell you this. I even look back at myself, so many choices and things and decision makings that I've had to have on many things caused me to stand alone. But what did that do on the back end? You know what I'm saying? Because even in those moments, as I look back, I was very much always asking, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? But one thing about Nia, when I put my mind to something, I can be confident in whatever decision that I'm making. Why? Because I have never just made a decision and just thought about the now. I'm always looking at what could possibly sneak up later on down the line from me making this decision. And when I examine that, and I already put my plan in place, as well as already, canceled out any possible, negative outcomes, full throttle from there. You may have parents that pour into, you may have a childhood where your parents are more invested, and not only just the now, but as well as your future. So you do have parents that are going to be having deeper conversations with you to already get the wheels turning, that allows you the free will for you to be an individual. Those are usually the most purest and healthiest relationships that we can have, because those allow us to, one, be authentic and comfortable within ourselves, first of all. And secondly, allows us to be authentically and comfortable with getting the right advice and opinions from someone who shows a genuine interest in us. And then not only showing a genuine interest in you, but allowing you that free will to be able to make decisions that they know is going to be best for you. Because what choices we make in this life, what you'll always come to realizing is that you'll always have to sit with the decisions that you make. No matter if you only made decisions to please your parents, no matter if you only made decisions to please those around you, always have to kind of stick to making the decisions that are best going to please you. And if you were anything like I was, especially late teens, early 20s, I was very big with God, so I felt like when I was putting my faith in certain areas, at times I would question it off the strength of, it's like, oh, do I know I'm making the right choices? Do I know I'm supported? And I literally just kept stepping out on faith, because one thing I have learned, we all view God on a different level. And your experience will not be my experience. My experience will not be your experience. And that's the case for everybody on this earth. So with that then really helps you to appreciate that there's going to be, once again, a lot of things that's going to just require you and God alone to navigate and get through. And then later on, there's maybe an open to that experience to share with you. A lot of times that may happen or may not, but you have to just, once again, just be confident in whatever decision that you're making. Standing on being different is kind of like tied into that as well, because like I said, when you're okay with being an individual and not having to have a validation party for everything that you do become a lot more confident in knowing that, okay, I know I'm making the right decisions, because one, I pondered on this for some times. This is not an overnight, thought process. So when you've walked through that mental path of navigating certain things, you'll be so confident in the things that you make, especially when you see the positive impacts of doing so. There's the positive impacts of being like, wow, I didn't have anybody here supporting me through this, and I was able to make a good decision that I'm now reaping the good benefits of. Because sometimes we can make poor decisions that are of our own choice, we don't have the best outcomes with. Nothing is worse than being able to look back and see that you've made decisions based upon somebody else's prediction of what you should be doing. At least even when you make poor decisions, you learn with them. That is the beautiful thing about life. There is, every path you take, there will be a lesson with it, whether it's good or bad. All of it, though, is a learning curve. Sometimes also, people can confuse self-confidence with self-arrogance. There are just some people that when they walk in the room, they can move it. And they don't have to do much of anything. Presence, confidence alone makes that happen. A lot of times you may hear people with this famous saying, oh, she thinks she's better than them. Oh, she thinks she's better than somebody. Da 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 da. Because when confidence is present, insecurities show. And people, instead of kind of being drawn to people that they actually are inspired by, instead of being drawn to people that they're inspired by, people just love to just sit and talk shit, So it becomes like a comfort area. And then what you'll find is groups in which they just constantly are involved in what other people have to do and what other people are doing and what those conversations are even looking like, barely have anything going on for themselves, let alone their own confidence. Because true confidence will never get intimidated by other people with confidence. If anything, they're going to be motivated to be like, oh my gosh, finally, somebody, that has a similar point of view. Somebody else that can move a room just as much as I can without having to feel like there's something wrong with them. And they constantly have to keep putting themselves in this box and downplaying and making themselves small. You'll be amazed of who you'll be drawing yourself to when you stand on your true self, your self-confidence, and that individualism, period. Because one thing, opinions that people have of you have nothing to do with you. Please know that. Live in your truth, you are walking in the authentic way with your head held high versus when you're not really living at all, it shows, And what I can tell you is that our bodies naturally respond to when we're stressed, and it naturally responds when we're not all the way good up here, Mental, we talk about depression, we talk about anxiety and all these other things. Yet we are in times where people lack speaking up for themselves, lack standing up for themselves, and are okay with contentment and being where they are. We live in times where people are comfortable under others, you know what I'm saying? But we are also in times where people are okay with standing by themselves. People are okay with voicing their opinions more. Even when we think back years ago with the 2020, that Me Too movements was real off the strength of people who actually had the confidence to step out in the first place, actually giving a voice to everybody else who hadn't. And then they are now motivated to do so. And then continuing to live their life in a way that they constantly want to stand on the things that they believe because they love the way that it feels. It feels rewarding. So once again, living your truth of the life that you want to live. A lot of times we get these perceptions of things pushed onto us that we don't even, believe ourselves. And how does that end up showing? When later on in life, we're not even close to as happy as we really want to be. You need to know what you believe. You need to know what you stand on. And you need to know what the basis of your confidence is. Also, making goals that are of your interest. This is always good because when you start accomplishing goals that are actually in line with what you want to do, not what John, Jake, and Sarah is doing on Instagram or social media, you feel fulfilled. Well, I just seen something today where I think it was Sexy Red or something was having this back and forth about somebody. And I think they were just kind of just saying how, her music is she was industry playing or something like that. This has been a dialogue about a few female rappers. The first thing she's talking about is, oh, you broke. Oh, you bitches don't even have no money. And all this kind of stuff, nonsense. And it's just yo, how many times do we hear that? Because why? That is the basis of what people have to use because they don't have nothing else. They only have money to be their confidence behind it. Somebody who's actually in the industry, actually making money from doing something that they're passionate about, didn't allow this industry to change them, stick to the music that they want to make, and now they're making money off their true passion, as well as genuine talent because they stuck to what they want. That's a different level. That's why even now when people say money, we know money does not solve happiness. Genuine happiness. You might not be as stressed out as the next. Once you reach a certain level financially, you may not have what the people under you financially problems have, but you still are going to have something that you're going to be dealing with. And especially if you're not doing things for the right reasons, the basis of what your intentions are for doing it is going to show, which is why you see especially some of these female rappers saying just anything about their mouth because you never cared about what you looked like. You never cared about what your influence was on others. You just wanted the bag, and that's why I really want to give more voice to women, just not always thinking that money is going to solve everything. And as you see, you have, or especially on TikTok, people are just be pouring into their platforms constantly about these crazy ass experiences that they're getting themselves into. Why? Because most of the times money is what led them there. You cannot be moved off money. Spending time with yourself, we kind of already talked about this. It's easy to get lost, feel complacent, feel stuck when you don't even know what role you're operating in. So getting clarity on that, constantly setting aside time to build yourself up. Confidence is almost like a healing journey. You cannot just say, oh, I have reached the finish line of confidence and I'm good. No, because it's something that has to be maintained on the daily basis. You know what I'm saying? And at any point in time, you lose your confidence. You can lose the strategy of your plans. You can lose the motivation and the inspiration for what you're doing. It's so many negative factors that come, and which is why we're going to talk to this next topic about who you are around and why that makes a big difference. Why you need to make sure you are checking yourself as far as who you're around, because sometimes people who are, I don't want to say lack awareness, because we are all at different parts in our life, you know? So they might just be in an area or in a space where they just want to feel wanted. They want to feel a part of. They want to feel like they have some type of community. So they don't always be too strategic about who they are choosing to be around, so forth and so on. As long as they have company, as long as they feel like they may be one of those individuals that keep company that needs them, so they can constantly feel their ego being fed. And it may not even be in a wrong intentional way, but that's the long term of that, right? You need to be mindful of who you're being around. Being around individuals who stir up competition in you, who bring out negativity in you, are individuals that you need to be aware of, because they feel like they're already. Be around people who bring out the best in you. Also be around people that you have accountability to. I use that example, like for example, with me. I teach dance. I also dance. Within recent timing, I have been getting things together for the dance year. Now, I also cater to adults as well as I cater to kids. Now, this will be the first year that I am doing, or should I say able to do, a full dance year with students because of COVID and just everything. It was a lot. And then the school was last year. Like, I just didn't have the time, but I always did keep my business going by having classes and so forth and so on. So one of the things that I have been recently just, kind of having more boundaries with, or just kind of getting my own belief on, is presentation. Because if I'm also trying to draw in kids, I also don't want to be having this ratchet or raunchy, look to anything. But I also had to understand what my mission is. My mission with dance was always to give exposure to girls that needed it. Because one thing I know, we're not running to the dance studio like we were back when I was in high school, or middle school. So trying to open up, this is a beautiful thing that you're doing. First of all, dance is one of the best passions I could have ever had, and I'm thankful for God for that, because it's something I can tell I'm genuinely talented at. Even as I'm just been observing my body now, as I'm getting my body back, training, that confidence, I'm just so proud of just my journey. Even since I had my son, I never allowed me being at the perfect state to make me wait to have my classes. Even, like I said, this is my technical 3rd year having my dance company, but my first official year being able to take kids. Did I allow my pregnancy to stop me? No. But that will always be like, yeah, that was my reason for not, And I say that because people are like, oh, your 3rd year, where is the recital from the last 3 years, But I had the blessing of being able to teach for other studios. And that gave me more than what I could have ever gained, because what it showed me was you can be a part of everybody else that has the same plan of you as you. You can be a part of other women that are doing the same thing as you, and it be nothing but an experience. Because if being in business, you're going to have your days, but you got to keep it from being personal. You can't take things personal. You just got to think about business, alternate solutions. Like, it's a whole different mind frame that's come with that. But I'm so grateful for it. And then even now, I've been having my own company, but that's not stopping me from teaching. I still need me to teach. I'm there, because this is the dance world, and I always loved the dance world, and I'm glad that has kind of been like my most passionate area, because what I can say about where this beauty industry really is, and I can say I may have not been too experienced and as real as it is, because I don't want to get too deep, but school has shown me that. But school has also shown me why my confidence is going to be my top seller. You have to be confident in what you're doing in order for people to believe in what you're doing too. So that it just plays a huge role in our all around being, and if you didn't have anybody pushing this into you before, here's the time to really think about it. Because, I was just kind of having this conversation the other day. I was talking about Happy Week. I said, it's really sad that people are always excusing Happy Week. Because if I can tell you, I've been big, and I know the reasons in which my weight gain came from. And a lot of my weight gain came from depression, stuck, stagnant, not being clear of where I want to be and who I am. So that played a huge role in everything I was doing, everything I was doing. And even as I look back on pictures, I'm just so glad that I figured it out for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because heavy weight and stress, depressed and anxiety weight, especially on our generation, it shows. You know what I'm saying? So even a lot of times you have people that maybe talk about their bodies. Oh, I don't like this about myself. I don't like this about themselves. If you are only genuinely not liking it because you genuinely don't like it, yes. Hold yourself accountable to change it, because sometimes that is your body's outcry to help you see, baby, I have an issue. Something is going on right now. And I don't know, but I need you to figure it out because I feel it. That's your body talking to you. And your body talks to you, especially in the area sometimes where gaining weight is the conversation. And there's nothing wrong with just being honest about it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I just changed my delivery a little bit, because I know what that feels like. And I also know what it's like to have people around you that just don't, that would just allow you to be in that place. You really have to be mindful of who you're around, because that's another thing. You having people around you that are keeping you complacent. And I just really felt that so heavy, because that was my greatest dilemma. And like I said, with this whole journey of self-love and self-care, and honestly, as we're talking about right now with self-confidence, I just am in just so much gratitude that I was just willing to just stand by myself sometimes in order to get a better result. Because had I just stayed stuck and comfortable in these places that I've been, especially when I just think about my year's journey, who can say I would have the voice that I have today to even be able to share to other women, and I didn't even know it was gonna hit that bad, but that's all I'm doing it for, Ooh, thank you. Give me a little drink of water. But no, seriously, I'm just so thankful that, I just planted that seed of confidence in me. And, a lot of times, I'm sure if you are not new here, you've heard about me speak about childhood and things like that. And it's just when you haven't used or allowed those negative experiences that you face, your imperfections from your parents, and the childhood, when you just process all that and get through it, baby, the peace that truly, I love, this is honestly one of my favorite scriptures too, is just the peace that truly surpasses all understanding. That's really real, because a lot of stuff I always felt it's just some stuff I just think God only understand. It's just true. Because it's just true. And like I said, I'm just so glad that I just sat in certain spaces and was willing to do so alone. Because even in those moments, I never was technically all alone. But sometimes, when you are aware of how other people's influence can impact important decisions that you need to make, you're going to very much understand the importance of sitting alone for a second. Don't confuse the sitting alone with the world and social media, confused with sitting alone, all this isolation, and you got to be by yourself and all that nonsense. No. Half the time, isolation is toxic, you know what I'm saying? Because you need people, you know what I'm saying? You need to be important to others because you are important. And you need to be in those circles with people that are making you feel important. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be around anybody who is bringing out that side of you. And I love to say that side of you, because I think we all have that, this narrative or this person that somebody has made us up to be, that we fight, believe in ourselves, because it's somebody else's prerogative, right? But we have to more so just stand on your own narrative. You know, who are you? You know, I said, when you are able to answer all those questions and understand it for yourself, the level of confidence is just going to naturally grow. You know, and I feel like I'm just constantly saying the same thing over and over again. And also, I'm just going to end it on us just circling back to our atmosphere. Like we kind of talked about circle, but also your vibe. You know what I'm saying? My biggest thing, especially when I got done school, I knew my room needed to be my sanctuary. That was something I kind of always stuck to for years. You know, my room, me investing in my room. So one of the things I did was I took my recording area and I put it back up in my room. Why? Because now I have the clear distinction between workspace and chill content space, especially since I am my businesses are passion, but that's business, you know. Once I just started, you know, putting that effort there, I just started feeling instantly better. And I even had said, like, dang, I wish I would have did this like the first week I was done school. But how can I do that when up here wasn't clear? Like, I'm just at this point thankful I don't even have to get up at 9 o'clock. I don't even have to get up at 7, you know, just to get out the door on time, you know. So once you kind of like, and, you know, rest and get your mind right here, then you can logically start looking at your life to see, you know, what's going on. And like I said, ever since school has ended, it's just been a cluster of just reality checks that I'm just, once again, so thankful for. And I'm just able to now just be authentic and truly, you know, do the things that I've been wanting to do without any gray space keeping me complacent. So it's just a good feeling. And like I said, that's something I wanted to just pour out there, because sometimes if you're not hearing it, you don't see it, or you're not even being asked, you won't know. You know what I'm saying? So definitely hope that some of these tips and things that we discussed today was helpful. Please be sure to comment down below, or depending upon where you're viewing this from, you might see me on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Just be sure to drop your thoughts down, comment, interact, you know, and, you know, give your feedback on to how you enjoyed this video, and maybe some tips and things that you've done yourself to work on confidence as well. Without any further ado, I will see you in the next video.